Welcome back to Sailing Cedar McClyde. In this episode, we leave Goose Group behind in thick fog, then spend the night at the beautiful Pruth Bay at the north end of Calvert Island. The next day, we depart for Fitzhugh Sound. Alex builds a homemade fishing rod holder. A humpback whale waves hello to us, and then we deal with some squally weather once we're out in Fitzhugh Sound, down to the bottom of it. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're enjoying this series, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and leave some comments. Doing so helps build this channel and get it to wider audiences. Thanks for your support, and enjoy the episode.
It's about 6:30 in the morning, and I noticed the wind is blowing from the north, and the fog has pushed back towards the mainland coast, so I decided to get us going, get us underway here. It's going to be really flat out there, so we can make breakfast and all that stuff underway. But the forecast, they had been calling for light, but for northwest for Queen Charlotte Sound, and I figured, if there's going to be any wind, it'll probably be northwest. And now they're saying they've changed the forecast to match what's happening northerly 5 to 15 or 5 to 10. So we'll go jump on this. The tide's in our favor for about 3 or 4 hours towards Hakai Pass, and then we want it to be flooding when we go in. So we're going to jump on this now. Alright, so we've been drifting around mostly, getting little wisps of breeze, and now for a whole couple of minutes, there's been a steady one. We're going almost 2.5 knots in the fog. It's actually kind of pleasant. It's so peaceful out here. And we saw a shark finning along the surface. I have no idea what kind it might have been. It was definitely a shark. That was kind of cool. And there's a humpback whale kicking around, birds and stuff. The fog is closing in a little bit here, so I'm listening carefully for other boats out that might be out in the water. This is a very quiet part of the coast here. I don't really expect to see anybody. There shouldn't be any shipping coming through here either. Maybe just cruising yachts or fishing boats or something. Very thick fog here. We're just cruising towards Hakai Pass while the current's in our favor. Seems to be falling out of our favor now. We're just getting there slack. But we're about 8 miles from our next anchorage. Hour and 40 minutes or so. We're just going to aim for that. Adams Harbor probably. Maybe we'll go to Pruth Bay if the fog lifts, but I'm not sure if I want to go into those narrows if the fog's this thick. See if we can see land when we get there. But I just had to go on the helm for a while. It's really bizarre steering in this. There's the prop walk on this boat holds to starboard, so it just kind of keeps trying to pull you that way. But there's just no point of reference to look at whatsoever, so you just kind of stare at the compass, stare ahead, make sure there's nothing ahead of you. No wind at all though, and the forecast is light, and we need to make some progress each day pretty much to keep us from having to do a bunch of big days. So alright, so after like 3 hours I think it was, or even 4, we are seeing land. A little yeah, interesting. I haven't really done this before. Just gonna slow down a little bit and coming up on this bit more narrow spot. Well, now that we're about 3 miles from the anchorage, nice little breezes come up, so we'll let the engine have a little breather before anchoring time here. Well, that wind was merely teasing us. We were going like 2 knots. Initially it was okay, but we're about a mile to the anchorage and we're going to anchor up. It's just a little bit afternoon now, so we'll have lunch and chill. There's Wi-Fi here, so we can reach out to friends and family. And what else? Check the European weather model. Oh yeah, gotta love those European models. We're at Hakai, Pruth Bay, on Calvert Island, and yeah, that was a bit of a frustrating day with no wind And then when we got here, there's a pretty good northerly that kind of hung around most of the day. It seemed like the fog cleared, so. But we had to work with the tide. I think if we'd waited, that northerly probably wouldn't have been enough with the tide that was likely going to be against us. Probably a couple knots running up there with these strong tides right now. But all good. We've had a nice day here. Used the internet a little bit. And there's just a few boats anchored out. There's one running the generator. Not sure why they have to do that when they would just have their engine running all day. But powerboaters, chime in, please. I don't understand why powerboaters turn on the generator when they get to anchor. Anyways, beautiful spot. Nice to be here. My buddy Nick is working here, and he's going to come by for some beers in a bit. We loaded up some water as well, which is great. So we're all topped up on water. And we're gonna head south tomorrow towards Fury Cove area, and then in preparation for heading across Cape Caution and into Queen Charlotte Strait the next day. Good morning from Pruth Bay with the Hakai Institute behind me. There's just a nice wee breeze that's come up. The tides are probably gonna be against us most of the day, but there's some wind, and it's northerly because the forecast is for southerly, so it's northerly, which makes sense. So we're gonna start enjoying this right away. We should be able to put the sails up right in the anchorage, basically. Maybe even sail off the anchor. Looks like Alex is trying on the face protector that I came with this boat. It's to protect you from the spinnaker. That's what those ATN units are for. But we had a nice evening here, and yeah, it's a nice, warm, very warm, kind of calm morning. It's really nice out. So we're looking forward to getting sailing again. No fog today, which is fantastic. And yeah, the breeze seems to be filling in, so we should hopefully get some good sailing here. Nice sailing out of the gate for the first time in a few days. I don't think it's gonna last too long. It's pretty variable up ahead. I'm gonna enjoy this sweet, sweet moment right now, and we'll see what we can do up ahead here in Kwakshua Channel. Alex is fashioning some DIY fishing rod holders, because usually these things cost 30 bucks for some reason, like a little chunk of plastic, so we're just using PVC pipe. Yeah, good. And a couple hose clamps. Using the drill, we're gonna mount them up right over here. Should be pretty groovy to help facilitate salmon catching, which I've not been very good at, but this should be a nice tool to help. Making our way up Kwakshua Channel out towards Fitzhugh Sound. The wind's been kind of all over the place, but it seems to have become steadier here coming out of Fitzhugh. There's Alex, looking around. Still working on his fish gear. Looking pretty good though. We initially did hose clamps. Tried out just some string. That worked really well. Yeah, so I think we're gonna have to do quite a few tacks here, but the angle's pretty good. Like on this tack, we're going almost straight down the channel. We'll just to do, we got fish. Possible fish here. Gotta go. There's a humpback sleeping in the middle of the channel here. They call it logging. He just sits there and occasionally blows, but just sits at the surface, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. Just broke free of Kwakshua Channel, and we're into Fitzhugh Sound now. See a bunch of whales around, humpbacks, and also a couple sailboats. At least one that's tacking against the southeast as well. Hydrovane's doing its work. There's a log that's went by. I better keep a closer eye out on the water and not the camera. And yeah, we put a reef in, and that got the steering just real perfect. So yeah, settle in for a day of tacking now. We've already done probably a dozen tacks or more up Kwakshua. It's Alex's opinion on things.
Oh, is it a video?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Alex here. So on this episode of All Sailing No Motoring, we are tacking up the Kwakshua Channel to Fitzhugh Sound, also known as Fitzwhale Sound. Pretty good.
Sweet. Thank you for the update, sir. super mellow sailing here in Fitzhugh Sound. We're going pretty slow, but one of our tacks is in pretty good direction. Tide's probably against us still, but not too far down towards the Schooner Retreat area, which is our good jumping off point for Cape Caution. So yeah, we're just gonna carry on, moseying along.
Hey guys, Alex here again. Just caught a pink salmon trolling with a green hoochie and a white flasher, and Trevor's gonna fillet it up right here on the port side settee.
Oh, what else do we use? A 6-ounce slip weight.
Yeah, a slip weight.
Yeah.
What was the
Pink salmon.
What was the trolling speed there?
I believe we were going about 1.6 knots when the hit occurred. And then quite abruptly, the sailing got good at a very nice angle, straight to Fury Cove pretty much, Schooner Retreat zone. So yeah, we're gonna fillet this puppy up and we'll have a nice barbecued salmon for dinner, eh? We have some somewhat intriguing clouds up ahead. Maybe they're nothing, but they kind of look squally to me. So we readied the boat, tied it up a bit, and we'll just see what that may or may not bring. But we are now 7 miles from our destination, slowly making our way there. Caught that fish, wind slowed down again, but it's a nice day out here. Okay, so we are now becalmed. There's a little squall line coming, and I think there's wind with it. So I'm just gonna hang tight, see if we get some wind. We're an hour away from our anchorage if we're going 5 knots or 6 knots. There's also another couple of anchorages within 2 miles of us, so perhaps we'll just pop into one of them, see what happens here. Stand by. Alex here. Still sailing in Fitzhugh Sound here. It's been an up and down kind of day. I had pretty breezy conditions in Quakshaw Channel, and then it got fairly light basically once we got into the sound. But we've had spurts of pretty fast sailing, almost up to 5 knots sometimes, and then a lot of slow stuff. But we are only about 3 miles to Fury Cove area. We're gonna go anchor in one of the nooks there, and yeah, tomorrow's gonna could be a big day if the weather's not too intense. There's a gale warning in the forecast for Pine Island to McInnes Island, which is our zone. However, the European weather models are suggesting that wind is going to be further out to sea, and we may not see more than 25 knot gusts and steady. I think it was 18-ish, which would be just fine. Maybe a little heavier end for close hauled, but doable, and we should be able to do it in just a couple large tacks to get out down towards Pine Island, and there's a lot of current that could help us out. So we will look carefully at that, see what the weather's doing in the morning, and decide whether or not we'll go out.
Be issued at 0400 Pacific Daylight Time Sunday. Forecast values are combined wind, wave, and swell height. Highest waves may be more than twice forecast values. Queen Charlotte Sound, western half. Seas 1 to 2 meters, subsiding to 1, Sunday afternoon.
Heading into Schooner Retreat for the night. Not very little swell today. Usually this place is kind of bubbling and crashing with swell, but it's almost nothing right now. Yeah, it's pretty quiet around here, and should be a nice place to rest before we head out across Cape Caution tomorrow. Mew gulls doing their thing, nervously coming near our boat for the sweet fish. anchored on this down the south end of Fitzhugh Sound in preparation for our Cape Caution crossing tomorrow. Just going for a little stroll. Had a tasty salmon dinner, potatoes and carrots. Yeah, it's pretty out. It's kind of raining, but this is like the worst rain I've experienced basically since Juneau. It's nice here. Just walking in the water. Here's Alex. Excellent action shot. It's just remarkably calm out here. I've never seen it even remotely close to this mellow in terms of the swell or lack thereof. There's like way less than a meter. It's like probably not even a foot. Just slight movement in the water. Usually here it's crashing into the rocks here and coming into breaker passage, as it's aptly named. But today it was just super mellow and flat. And it's really flat out there right now. So that hopefully bodes well for us getting out across Cape Caution. Even if it is a bit windy, there should be really minimal swell to deal with, which will make things a lot easier.
Well, that wraps up this episode. We spent the rest of the evening relaxing and getting ready for the big day we had coming, heading across Cape Caution and back down towards Vancouver Island. In the next episode, we get our first pre-dawn start in a long time and head out into initially a pretty calm conditions before the wind increases from the south and we head on smashing into it. Despite having to sail close haul and tack through it, we make really good time across Queen Charlotte Sound into Queen Charlotte Strait due to really good tides that helped give us a big boost. It was really fascinating to watch the arches in our tack angle as the current helped us out. After that long day, we anchored up in a place called God's Pocket where I used to work, and it was really special to me. The next day we go for a lovely forest walk while we wait for the fog to burn off, and then we set sail south down towards Port Hardy. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're enjoying the series, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Bye for now.